Hi boys and girls. This is your video for 7-3 Pythagorean theorem practice problems. All right, these are the practice problems that are at the end of the unit in your workbook, and you also see them over on McGraw-Hill. This is on page 415, and I have my calculator ready because I can't do these in my head for the most part. What is the length of a diagonal of a rectangular picture whose sides are 12 inches by 17 inches? Now, I told you to expect pictures and applications, so that's what we've got here. Switch to pen. All right, they're looking for the diagonal. So where's the right angle? You see it's marked right here. So that means that these are your legs. Oh yeah, this drawing pen is hard to draw with. These are your legs. Okay, so you have the legs and you need the hypotenuse. So the way you're going to set this up is 12 squared plus 17 squared. Remember, leg squared plus leg squared equals the side you don't know. Okay, then you have to figure out what these are. You got to square these. 12 times 12 is 144. 17 times 17, I think, is 289. Yeah, 289 equals x squared. Then you have to add these two together, which gives us 433. And I'm not going to totally ruin the grand finale for you. Then you would take 433 and you would take the square root of it, and you would take the square root of x squared. The square root of x squared is x, and then this number here, you would square root it. I'm not going to tell you what it is because that will take all the fun out of it for you. But I'm going to tell you that it would be very easy to round it to the nearest tenth, which is what they have asked you for. Okay, remember that means one number after the decimal. Moving on to number 2. How far is the airplane from the runway? So they want to know again the distance of the hypotenuse. These are your two legs. Now we're getting some very big numbers though. Let me move this here so I can write over here. All right, our legs are 10,000 and 32,000. So we're going to have 10,000 squared plus 32,000 squared. I wonder if our calculator can handle that. Equals c squared. We're going to find out. All right, so 10,000 squared. It can do it. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 zeros. A 1 with 8 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How much is that? 100 million. And now we have to square 32,000, which is going to be even bigger. Holy cow, Batman. It does fit in the calculator, though. If you have a TI 30, it'll fit. 1, 0, 2, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros. And you have to add these two together. And I said that was 8 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And when we add these together, we get 1, 1, 2, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boy, I am looking forward to square rooting this one and getting it to a more manageable size. I don't know about you guys. We want the square root of that number. So you're going to do the square root of 1, 1, 2, 4, and 6 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it is not a pretty number. It does easily round to the tenths place. And the number is slightly larger than the 32,000 that we have here. This distance here is just a little bit bigger than this one, but I won't ruin the surprise for you. I'm not going to just give you the answers. We can work for it a little bit. Just showing you how to set them up. Number 3, the diagonal of a television measures 27 inches. If the width is 22 inches, calculate the height to the nearest inch. Okay, so now they've changed it up on you. You'll notice over here that these are your legs. This is a leg and this is a leg, and we're missing a leg. All right, we don't know that leg, but they've given us the hypotenuse. So we're going to go ahead and set this up. Remember that the way the Pythagorean theorem works is you have leg squared plus the other leg squared equals the hypotenuse squared. right? So I know one leg and I don't know the other. The first leg I know is 22 squared plus x squared. That represents this leg that I don't know what it is. Equals 27 squared. Remember, everything has to be squared. So now 22 squared is 484, much more reasonable number than we had before. 484 plus x squared equals, and 27 squared is 729. 729. Remember, when you're missing a leg, you have to do that extra step where you subtract this number from both sides so that you can get the side you don't know alone. So now I have x squared is equal to 729 minus 484 is 245. And then you would take the square root of both sides to get x is equal to, I'm not going to tell you the answer, but I will tell you this one rounds up. But you'll be able to figure it out. Okay, so here we've got what they call one of the three-dimensional examples. Still, it's just a right triangle. They've drawn it for you right here. They're telling you that this side is 6 here, and this side is the one you don't know. Well, these are the two legs because these are the sides that make that right angle. So those are our legs. So again, we're missing this leg, and we have the hypotenuse. Same kind of thing. We're going to have 6 squared plus, we don't know, squared. We can make it x, you can make it b. It doesn't matter what letter you make it. Equals 15 squared. 6 squared is 36. And 15 squared is 225. Okay. And then remember that extra step. You have to subtract 36 from both sides. And that gives us x squared is equal to 189. And I will tell you that 189 is a perfect square. So when you do this one, you should not need to, I say that it might be 289 is perfect square. Let me check. 189. Oh no, this one's not a perfect square. So you will have to round this one, and it's a very easy one. I think you'll be able to do it no problem. All right. So find the square root of 189 and you will have that one. All right, so number 5 is mixing it up a little bit on us. What is the perimeter of a right triangle if the hypotenuse is 15 centimeters and one of the legs is 9? They haven't even given you a drawing, okay? So we can just go ahead and draw any old right triangle. And draw it poorly, of course. This is my right triangle. They've told me one of the legs is 9 and the hypotenuse is 15. And they want to know, what's the perimeter? Well, perimeter is the distance around a figure. So what we've got to do is we've got to solve for this extra leg, but then we have to add all the sides together to find out what the perimeter is. Okay, so let's start by finding the leg we don't know. Well, we do know the one leg, that's 9, so 9 squared, plus the leg we don't know, we'll call him b, equals the hypotenuse, which we do know. 9 squared is 81, b squared we don't know, and 15 squared is 225. So then we would have to subtract 81 from both sides like we always do when we're missing a leg. And we would have b squared is equal to 225 minus 81, 144. Oh, that's going to work out so nice. If you know your 12 times tables, you know what I'm talking about. Take the square root of both sides and you'll have the missing side right here. Okay, that number is how long that side is. But remember, the answer to this one is going to be 9 plus 15 plus the side we don't know. That is your answer right there. Okay, winner, winner, chicken dinner. So make sure you answer the perimeter of the triangle, all 3 of the sides added together. Okay. Number 6, multi-select. Select all the following statements that are true about the right triangle shown. All right, well, the first one says the hypotenuse is 30 yards. Well, which is the hypotenuse? These are the legs, and this is the hypotenuse, so that one's correct. I'm not going to mark it, though. I want to make sure you're listening to me. So the first one's right. The missing leg is 18 yards. Well, we'll have to find the missing leg. So we know we're missing that leg, so we've got 24 squared plus b squared equals 30 squared. Oh, gonna need the calculator back. Don't know 24 squared. 24 scared. 24 scared. Are you scared yet? Okay, it's 576 plus b squared equals, this is 900. Subtracting 576 from both sides gives us b squared is equal to 324. So then we have to take the square root of 324 to find out how long the missing leg is. Okay, I know how long the missing leg is. So yeah, you may or may not be marking this one as true. It just depends on what the square root of 324 is. This one says the missing leg is 24. You may or may not be 24. You're going to have to find out what the square root of 324 is to know which one of those is right. I'll tell you one of them's right. The formula 24 squared plus a squared equals 30 squared can be used to find the missing leg measure. Yes, this is true. Now, I used B, but I keep telling you, it doesn't matter if you use A, B, X, or first letter of your name. It doesn't matter what letter it is. This setup is correct. That's the leg we know, this is the leg we don't know, and this is the hypotenuse. So the setup is right. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's A, B, or W, whatever. This one is wrong because this is the hypotenuse and it can't be on the left-hand side. That's where the legs go. These are in the wrong places. They should be reversed. So that's definitely not one you want to mark. Okay. Patrick has a gas-powered boat. See, all the boat problems. Boats again. Has a gas-powered boat that averages 5 miles per gallon of gasoline, and the tank holds 4 gallons. At 2 p.m., he left the dock. At 3 p.m., he was 6 miles west and 8 miles south of the dock. If he continues at this rate, in how many more hours will the tank be out of gasoline? So again, we have a boat that has traveled an hour. We have to figure out some stuff here. First of all, we know that his boat will go 5 miles on 1 gallon of gasoline. Okay, and we know the tank holds 4 gallons. Okay, at 2 p.m. he left the dock, and at 3 p.m. he was 6 miles west and 8 miles south of the dock. Okay, so we need to figure out how far this distance was. Well, we can do this by creating a right triangle here. We create a right triangle, and then we can know what the legs are. Okay, this leg is 8 long. I know these are negatives, but how many boxes are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 8 boxes. It's 8 long. You can't have negative length. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 long. All right, so if the legs are 6 and 8, how long is the hypotenuse? How far did he travel? 6 squared plus 8 squared equals c squared, the thing we don't know. This would be 36 plus 64 equals c squared. 36 and 64 equals 100. And if you take the square root of both sides, then you will find that he has traveled 10 miles. Miles, right? Yeah, it's got to be miles. Okay? So this distance is 10 miles. The question says, if he continues at this rate, how many more hours will he run out of gas? Well, how many miles can he go on a full tank? If his tank holds 4 gallons and he can go 5 miles on a gallon, we need to multiply 4 and 5 to figure out how many miles one tank will get him. 20 miles on one tank. So if he has a tank and after 1 hour he has gone 10 miles, okay, it wants to know how many more hours will he run out of gas. Well, he only traveled 1 hour and got 10 miles, and he can only go 20 miles on a tank. So how many more hours can he go before he runs out of gas? He can only go 1 more hour. He had 20 hours in the tank to begin with, and he had 20 miles in the tank to begin with, and he's already used 10. He better turn around and go back, because he's only going 10 more miles. So he only has 1 hour left to make it back before he runs out of gas. Or maybe he brought gas with him. That could be a possibility. All right, I did not include number 8 in the practice assignment. I have, however, substituted a problem that I want to at least set up with you so that you'll have an idea, because you'll see these more than once. Mia, so what you do is you draw a thing, call it Mia. So this will be Mia, is exactly 8 feet in front of Kiera. Okay, so I'm going to draw a line and I'm going to show Mia is exactly 8 feet in front of Kiera. There's Kiera. And Luke is 9 feet to Mia's right. Luke is 9 feet to Mia's right. How far is Luke from Kiera? See what I've done here? I've created a right triangle, and you have to find this distance here, okay? I told you that Luke is 9 feet to Mia's right, and I told you Mia is 8 feet in front of Kiera. So now that you have these two, you could easily set this up so that you could figure out c squared, the distance from Luke to Kiera, okay? So that's how you would kind of set one of these up. Sometimes they won't give you the drawing, and you will have to set it up yourself. Okay. I did include number 9 in, and this one's not on the practice assignment. That's just one that I made up, obviously. I did include number 9 on the practice assignment. I think it's fair game. It says the radius of the circle shown is 4 centimeters. So that means from here to here, halfway across the circle is 4 centimeters. One of the legs of the right triangle formed is also 4 centimeters. This one's 4 centimeters. Find the length of the leg X. All right, well, how long is this hypotenuse? It's not just 4. This goes all the way across. So this piece is 4 and this piece is 4. So this whole hypotenuse here is actually 8. This leg is 4 and we need to find this leg. So we're missing a leg again. We know one leg is 4, so 4 squared plus the leg we don't know squared equals 8 squared. 4 squared is 16, the leg we don't know, and 8 squared is 64. If we subtract 16 from both sides, x squared is equal to, I'm going to go ahead and borrow, that would be 8, that would be 48. So then you would take the square root of both sides. It does say round to the nearest tenth, so they expect this to not be a perfect square, which I know it's not. Second square root 48. Yep, fairly easy to round to the nearest tenth, okay? No problem there, but you will have to do that square root of 48 to get the answer to this one. That is the last problem that I included on the practice assignment. So we're done with this video now. I hope that you took some good notes and you're ready to go over and put your answers into the McGraw-Hill assignment that is waiting for you now. Oh yeah, peace out.